Hello all you animators out there, and you junior animators, and all you wannabes who are studying to learn the nuts and bolts of animation. Today we're going to talk about learning to animate. And I think it would be a mistake on my part to just jump into how to animate without giving you a little foundation underneath it and talking about the motion picture and a little bit of its history and how it all works. I put this down on the animation paper. Then I take some tape and tape down all four corners of this photograph onto the first sheet of animation paper. Then I'll take a second sheet of paper, put it on the peg holes. Now this sheet is registered to the sheet underneath it. And I take photograph number 2 and flipping or lifting up the top sheet of paper, I make sure that all four corners are lined up. What will happen is sometimes it's kind of awkward to get yourself into the right position to draw something. So they made it round so you could simply rotate this and have easy access to your drawing. Do you see that? It rotates. And it does it very, very simply, so it's not a problem at all. So that means that your animation will no longer be in registry. So they've invented something called the reinforcement. So I have a series of other field guides. I'm just going to stack them in front of you so you see them. There they are. There's a bunch of them. This is the 16 field guide, which I can now fit into the perimeters of the line I just drew. And I can place the center. You see it has a center. Place the center there. And wherever this orange is, that represents what the audience will not see. The center for the 12 field, which I want to pick up, and I want to trace where the center is right there. Notice the dilemma. If you're using 16 field, the center of the camera lens is here. If you're using 12 field, the center of the camera lens will still be here. But you have to know that the center of anything that's 12 field is much more south. And then move the center over in this direction. Ah, yeah, we get him in. But what will that look like on screen? It will look like that. So the whole camera is tilted very strange. So I'm going to put the paper back on the pegs. I'm going to try something. What I'd like to do is show you something that's even a bigger version of this, which I call pen paper. Very long, but it's the same height as the 12 field paper. There's the bucket, and it's going to actually pan through like this to get out of the way. It's going to pan through. Now, what's the error of my way? Didn't I say that we had a 12 field? All right, so I put this back down. I find the center of the 12 field, which is right here, to the left of the real center, and I put my 12 field size down on top of it. When I do, I say to myself, look at the edge of the paper. It's down in the orange, but it doesn't go all the way past the orange. Therefore, I can't use that size paper for a pan. And the drawings in between, guess what they'll be called? Inbetweens. So these are the extremes. And the drawings in between will be called Inbetweens. Guys, this is so very basic that I almost feel like I'm talking down to you a little bit to tell you this. But that's, I think, how you have to think. And you can actually photograph these extremes, play it back on a camera, and tell whether your animation has a nice feeling or not. So much for the nuts and bolts of animation. Now, I've only taken you up to a certain point. We just got through talking about the exposure sheet. There'll be more on that. But in the tape that's coming up, which will be video number 2, I'd like to get into let's animate the bouncing ball.